Guys, my name is Jader Salazar. I am the founder of Black Label Closers, an organization dedicated to help people to become exceptional high ticket salespeople, women, men. Anybody who wants to do this can, if you just believe in yourself. If you just believe in yourself, it is up to you. It really is. We have a community on School, SKOOL.com, and you can become part of that community, ask questions, get some help. You can sign up for our free course, which has a ton of value there. And also, if you want to be more aggressive, I have a course that's valued at $1,000, but you only pay $97. You only invest. It's not a payment. You're not buying a TV. You're not buying a pair of shoes. You're investing into your future, right? $97 for $1,000 program. And if you really want to dive into this, you can become my partner through the partnership program. It's as simple as this. We share 50% of the profits. And you start selling a product that's legitimate, genuine, ethical, and you start putting money in your pocket. Come talk to me. Let me know. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have these live open house training events where you can come and collect a lot of information. Then, since you're going to sign up for school, you're going to go there, ask questions. I will answer the whatever question you have. You can post it there, start the conversation, and we can start getting this, taking this to the next level. All right. Perfect, guys. We're going to talk about fun things today that are important. So the first thing that we need to talk about is why is psychology important when selling high ticket? Well, let's understand that, right? Why is psychology so important when selling high ticket? It's very important, guys. It's very simple, guys. We're not just talking about the psychology of the customer. We're talking about your psychology as well. Any type of process in which you have to sell something to somebody, you are going to have to convince, right? That's what we think when we think about sales. How do we convince people to obtain a service or product that we have, especially when those people are not in front of you face to face, maybe on a phone call, maybe on a video, right? When those people have a ton of other opportunities to go and invest with other people, maybe more branded names, right? A more branded name is always going to be a tough contender, right? Competitor. Hence the reason why they're big names, right? How do we weaken or debilitate the fact that somebody talks about, let's say you're selling real estate investing. And let's say that you have someone in front of you who's talking about Grant Cardone, someone who's a super big name in the industry, someone who's got all corners of marketing covered, all platforms, everywhere. You know this guy's massive. How are you going to tear that one down? What makes you different than Grant Cardone, right? So let's answer that question after we completely talk about the psychology. So why are you different? Why are you different? You guys can do this as well, right? I mean, you're the ones learning, right? So you can write that down. We're gonna put a pin on this. I'm gonna come back. So The magic in sales is to be able to find the most expeditious way but effective way to be able to convince someone that you are selling them something that will benefit them. Now the problem is people have one question. I don't care how much interested they are. They have one question. If I invest, am I making a good decision? How do I know if I'm making a good decision? Um, you have to be quicker than that question. If someone asks you, how do I know that you guys will be there to vouch to help me, to back me up? How do I know that you guys are going to do that? The quickest way for a salesperson, remember, and we talk about selling, of course, this is a sales, right? But remember that I have philosophies on sales or in sales that are very atypical, to say the least. I don't believe that you become the most effective by being a salesperson. You become the most effective by being a closer, right? So how do we deflect? How do we debilitate a person's question? I don't know if you guys understand what the Platonic um, teaching style is. The Platonic, I'm going to say hi to everybody in a little bit. Just give me 2 seconds. I want to address everybody and mingle a little bit. But uh, so Plato, the way he taught people was basically every time someone had an existential question, he would propose a question back to them. He would impose a question back. So it's kind of like um, when you're playing baseball and you have the bat, right? The way you counterest the pitcher is by hitting the ball, right? That's exactly what Plato did, and it's called the Platonic um, education style. So when someone says, how do I know that I'm making a good decision? How do I know you guys will vouch for me? How do I know that you guys will back me up? All those things that people want reassurance for. The only way, if you go for the easy way, which is what salespeople do, closers don't, is you have to confront that person to that same question. Okay, you got to confront that person with that same question. Hold that thought. I'm going to say hi to everybody here. All right, so time to say hi. Yoey's here. How are you, Yoey? Alex came back. Hello, Alex. It's great to have you, man. I miss you for a little bit. Rose is here as well. Aldo, as I like to call him, and Mars are here. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming. Let's learn a ton here. So how do we deflect a question that seems to have no exit? Very simple. You throw that question back at the person. But you gotta so now I want you to be a little bit open-minded here because every time I give you guys a rebuttal that works, I'm not just saying do it for that one sentence or question. What I'm referring to, and you had this is where you and if you don't have the capacity to be able to expand your horizon as far as rebuttals and put them in different places for different reasons with different people at different times, then you probably don't have what it takes to sell. All right. So what I'm about to say doesn't just work for one objection only, guys. It works for many objections. You just have to apply pressure at the right time, like I said, with the right people, for the right reason, all that stuff. All right. So when someone says, how are you guys different? I don't know. I don't know how we're different. I haven't taken Mr. Grant Cardone's course. I just don't know how effective he is. But my question is, how are you different from everybody who talks about wanting to become financially independent and they never do. What's different about you? I mean, because to be honest with you, there is no mentor without a student. If you're not there to be reciprocal on everything the mentor has to teach you, there's no mentor. The student creates the mentor, the mentorship. The mentor is ready, but remember, the mentor shows up, or the professor or the teacher shows up once the student shows up, right? Once the student shows up, that's when the mentor becomes solid, right? So if you have another objection like that, I mean, don't also be smart, right? You're not going to do this every single time, right? That, like, if somebody asks, for instance, uh, um, so where are you guys located? So where are you located? We're not going to do that, right? We're not just going to throw rebuttals just because. We're not going to have an attitude. Guys, remember, if you're posturing someone and you're not creating a rapport, all you're doing is creating problems. You're just being rude, right? So you got it hand in hand. Rapport, posture. Those two things are extremely important. All right, extremely important. Okay. So I answered the question, why are you guys different? But the most important part of what we're talking about here is the psychology. How is it that someone invests into a product or service? And you can have the best, most impressive company backing you up, but if you are not creating that psychological impact, remember, guys, everything technical, everything that you want to be successful at, it's 20% psychological. 20% technical, 80% psychological. In any single thing, every single thing that you want to become successful at, you got to put 80%, you got to be embedded into whatever process in a psychological way, right? In motivation is nothing. I've come to realize that motivation is nothing. Motivation is just a feeling. Like when I'm hungry, right? I'm hungry, I eat, it's gone. When I'm sleepy, I sleep, it's gone. Motivation is I'm motivated and I don't even have to do anything because it's going to be gone. Even if I start working towards my goals, my motivation is going to go. It's going to fade away at some point. So motivation has to. So when someone gets on the phone with me, all these questions get asked. All these propositions, these paradigms get proposed. All these perspectives, mindset perspectives. I throw that in the mix. Obviously, if you're going to be technical with someone, if you have to have a technical conversation with someone who, if you're dealing with sophisticated investors, you don't need to do that. But there is a psychological component there as well, right? They want to talk to someone who knows their craft, who knows the product. When you're talking to the public, most people have not become sophisticated. I don't care if they're doctors. I don't care if they're attorneys. When I say sophisticated, I'm not talking in IQ standards. I'm talking towards in the field of investing. For everything that you do in life, you have to become sophisticated, right? Sophisticated means sharp. Sophisticated means effective, diligent, experienced, confident. That's what sophisticated means in this context, right? You're not going to have, if you have a heart transplant that you have to go through, You're not going to trust someone, a doctor. I don't care how many years of experience he's got, but if he doesn't sound sophisticated, if he doesn't sound confident, you're not going to go through that with him. You're just going to have your doubts, and you're going to tell. It's the same with everything, right? This is the reason why it is important that you guys stay confident. Now, separate the word confident from cocky. Don't be cocky. That's confidence. When you're confident, you don't need to scream. You don't need to talk loud. You don't need to walk faster. In fact, the most confident people on earth they pace themselves. If you yell at them, they're just going to take a step back. They're going to look at you, size you up, and depending on the situation, they might just leave you alone, right? So cocky, it's a person who's constantly on the lookout for drama, for toxic operation and execution. That's being cocky, right? So don't be cocky. Alex is saying something here. I want to acknowledge what he says here. Great tip. Thank you. No, for sure, Alex. And if you have any questions, let me know. All right. Let me know. Okay. All right, guys. We have 10 minutes left, and I want to move. I want to keep poking at this because you guys don't have, I don't know if you do, but most people don't have a clue on how important this is. What I'm about to show you guys, it's really, really out there, and we need to come to senses with this. All right, guys. I want you to look at this. This is AI. In other videos, in other open house training that I've done, I've talked about how surgeons are going to be replaced. You don't believe me? Take a look at this.
Da Vinci robot sliced and sewed it right back again. Wow.
This is a robot, AI built in, right? Skinning a grape, taking the skin off a grape.
Wow.
All right, so now let's go to another video, guys.
Something massive is happening in the world of chemistry, specifically AI, and it's running entire labs by itself, discovering new materials faster than we ever could. These aren't just automated machines or tools like ChatGPT. These are actual self-driving labs that reason, learn, and experiment completely on their own. And they're spreading everywhere. In Japan, researchers built a self-driving lab that discovered a completely new battery material in just a few weeks. The AI designed the experiments, mixed the right chemicals, tested the results, and learned from its failures, all without human intervention. Meanwhile, at the University of Tokyo, another autonomous lab is operating 24/7, conducting over 1,000 experiments per day. And that lab is revolutionizing thin film material by using robotic arms and AI. And these labs don't just follow instructions. One paper revealed that self-driving labs are now forming their own hypothesis, designing their own experiments, and when something fails, they immediately learn from it and design better experiments. In Germany, scientists created a self-driving lab that reads scientific papers, extracts the procedures, and then actually performs those experiments in real life. And this is spreading globally. Labs in Japan are using AI that can handle dangerous chemicals safely. American labs are discovering new cancer treatments. Canadian labs are creating revolutionary solar cell materials. I mean, there's so many examples of these self-driving labs and their discoveries. The Nature Reviews chemistry paper revealed something even more incredible. These labs are now being connected to each other, sharing knowledge across the globe. I mean, imagine an AI scientist in Japan making a discovery and instantly teaching that knowledge to an AI scientist in New York. We're not just talking about faster research. They're finding solutions that we might never have discovered or thought of on our own in the first place. These self-driving labs are already working on breakthrough treatments, revolutionary battery technology, and materials that could change everything from renewable energy to space exploration.
You may have to pay your job if you want to quit. Stories like this Texas nurse who tried to switch to a better job ended up getting a debt collector at her door demanding money for training that she received on site, or this story of a cargo pilot facing a $20,000 lawsuit over job training expenses are super common now. These are all examples of training repayment agreement provisions, or traps, a new way that your boss is keeping you at your job and also keeping wages across the board lower. An executive director of the Student Borrower Protection Center said that this is a new form of student debt, but it's coming from employers and your workplace. And although a 2014 study found that just 4% of workers were in one of these traps, the data suggests that 10% of people are now in them. That's an estimated 17 million workers. Companies say that they have to charge this because they're having to invest more in their workers because these are higher skilled jobs. But the reality suggests that by blocking them from seeking jobs elsewhere, they're able to drive down wages, limit bargaining power, and lock workers into unsafe working conditions. We're basically creating a new form of indentured servitude.
So my point, guys, is there was a really good video there that talked about how companies now, if you go work for a company and they train you, once they train you, and let's say that you work for 3 years there, now you've been trained on how to be a nurse assistant or how to be a specific type of nurse within that field, or how to be a specific type of architect in a field, whatever it is, engineer, IT, and they train you for that specific role because your degree was too generic. Then what a lot of these companies are starting to do is once you want to leave the job, they bill you for the training that they have given you. They're starting to realize that training someone, giving that person specific traits and teaching and investing into that person, and they decide to leave. And to be honest with you, it used to happen to my wife and I. We used to have call centers, and we kept training people. So the training process was 2 weeks. They would come in, they would train, get paid for that training, and they would leave. And then the next person would do the same thing and would leave after 2 weeks and come back, come to work. Another person, brand new person would come, work for us, work for 2 weeks, leave. And again, we had to pay several times for training the same person. So I'm not saying that I never charged people for training them, but I can see how, pissed off you can get if you're the business owner that people are just taking your training and just leaving, and you're not creating any profits, because that's ultimately what a business is for. But I think it's a little bit too radical to charge a nurse that works for you, becomes specializes in something because you gave them the training, and now they're just going to leave, and you're not going to be able to create. And you're going to go after that person for money, for training, when that person created profits for you. At that point, I think it is a little bit unfair, to be honest. But the main concept is the world is headed for a couple of things, into some areas that where people are going to be at a loss. AI is going to replace your job, plus whatever job you can get. Now they're going to charge you for training. So most of these jobs that will be left for humans will not be in the six figures. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some high tech. I don't know, what is it that human beings can do where AI being smarter than we are, they can't do. You see what I mean? Um, I've done research to find out what's going to happen to our field of high ticket sales. And the more research I do, and I am going to start bringing the evidence, but the more I find the evidence, the more I understand that a human to human type of field business, like high ticket, um, it's going to be imperative. We are going to be needed. I don't know for how long. What I'm thinking is we're going to be needed for the next 20, 25 years. And here's the reason why. The people that will embrace AI, maybe by force or willingly, I think most likely it's going to be willingly, are going to be the people that are 5, 10, 7 years old right now, the kids, because they're going to grow up with this. They're going to grow up with this, and they're going to grow up learning and understanding how this works. For them, there's no transition. This is their world. For us, it's just not going to be that easy. And like I said before on another live event that I had, the government has to make adjustments on how to deal with AI and stop AI from pretending that they're humans when they're talking to someone trying to collect $20,000, $25,000, when that prospect does not want to give $20,000 to an AI. They'd rather talk to a human being, someone who can understand them, someone who understands human blood, to be honest. It's just simple math. All right. Excellent, guys. So again, guys, my name is Jader Salazar. This is Black Label Closers. This is an organization dedicated to help people become exceptional salespeople in the art of high ticket sales. Come to our Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, open house training. Trust me, it's going to be great. Every time you come here, we're going to talk about fascinating things. We always give great tips. Guys, go to school, SKOOL.com, sign up, become part of the community, sign up for the free course. You want to put your money where your mouth is. There's a $97 course valued at $1,000, and you only pay $97. A lot of juice there, a lot of gravy there, guys. Also, you can sign up for the partnership program, and you become my partner. We split everything down to the middle, 50%, 50-50. 50% for you, 50% for Black Label Closers. Come talk to me, reach out to me, and we can talk more about this. All right. I just want to say, acknowledge the people here one more time. Yoey is here. Thank you very much, Yoey, for helping me out. Alex, awesome man. Do it more often. I miss you. Come back. Rose, thank you very much. She's always here. Really appreciate it. Aldo or Aldemar, thank you for coming. Mars, thank you for coming as well. And Rose, again, thank you so much for coming, guys. I'll see you next Thursday, 7 p.m. right here